Once again, we are here on Living in the 21st Century. Joining me today in the studio is Yelena Barrieva. Also joining me is Laura Delgado. And these are ladies who are defining performing arts today. So we're going to have a nice conversation in terms of the performing arts. Hi, Lena. Yelena, it's good to have you on the show.
Good afternoon, Errol.
Also, Laura,
Thank you, my
welcome
pleasure.
to Living in the 21st Century. So my first question goes out to you, Yelena. What really got you into the performing arts?
Thank you so much for having me. First of all,
Sure.
it's a pleasure to be here. Um, the most simple the most simple answer would probably be that it was my mother.
Okay.
She was a musician herself, classical, concertizing, and she discovered a talent that I had when I was little. She would have a few students come to our apartment,
Okay.
and by the time they would leave, I would pick up on certain notes that they played by ear. I was 3 years old, and I would just go to the keyboard and repeat parts of what they played. So she decided that it was my path then.
That's interesting. That's very
Yes.
beautiful. That's beautiful. That's very nice.
Yeah.
You did really enjoy this thing then from as early as 3 years old you were into
Yeah.
getting
Yeah.
into music and
Yeah.
so forth. That's really
Absolutely.
good. And Laura, tell me about yourself. What got you into singing for all these years?
Well, I first have to say my family, my grandparents came from the Cape Verde Islands, from Cabo Verde, and when they had children, they are all self-taught musicians.
Okay.
Back at that time, there was not much to do, and so they all started playing instruments. So the violin, the mandolin. My dad was a vocalist, the guitar. So they played all types of instruments. But growing up, we always had music in our house, and I have four older siblings, so we always had music going. We always had the latest records. My mom would get up in the morning and turn on music. So music is in my heart and in my veins. And back in the probably late 30s, early 40s, my dad, they had a group called the Delgado Brothers.
Okay.
And they used to open for Cab Calloway and Nat King Cole
Okay.
and Louis Armstrong
Nice.
back in the day in the New England area. So, like I said, I grew up with music. And I use music, and I'm a teacher, and I use music at school, and I'm always have a song in my heart. So
That's really
music is with me everywhere I go.
That's nice. That's nice. So Elena, tell me, you had done quite a bit extensively in terms of traveling, um, getting involved with all types of flavored music based on which nation you would have touched. Could you just enlighten us as to what that was really all about?
My traveling. It mostly started for me when I was a teenager,
Okay.
maybe even a bit pre-teen years. I started to travel to competitions.
Okay.
So my traveling began with performing for judges in various countries. And then when I got older, I would either win a competition or become one of the prize winners, and that was followed by a series of performances in various places.
Excellent.
So one of the things that is with me, that has been with me since I started playing piano from the very early age, is the love for stages, playing for people. So that never went away, and it's always with me. So anywhere I go, whether it's a 20 people audience or I've played for 600, 700, 800 people audience, it's always the same feeling to share my craft, share my love for music with the people, and just really enjoy the moment.
Okay, excellent. What are some of your golden accomplishments over the years since you have been actually playing as a professional pianist?
The best part, I would say, is that my music makes people feel good in some ways. I had people come up to me after the concert saying, oh, that music in particular reminded them of something from their youth, or they had an array of emotions experienced based on a certain piece, or based on the interpretation of the certain piece. So that's probably the best moment for me,
Okay.
besides the fact that I love playing on nice pianos in general. But that's a huge part, that people experience emotions.
Excellent. And Laura, you had been out there, I mean, playing for a while with Bob. Obviously, he's not here right
Yes.
now, but so that sometime we can do an interview together. What are some of your great experiences out there playing with Bob as a singer?
Well, Bob and I, we've been together probably about 7 years, I guess. And how that happened was, I have a lot of musician friends, and they would allow me to sit in with their band and do a few songs here and there. And then after a while, people wanted to hire me, and I said,
Okay.
I don't have a band. So basically, Bob and I found each other. We both love music. We sort of, just really wanted to get together and do some of our favorite tunes. So we have a small jazz band. We do contemporary jazz, R&B, and we just love playing together. So we just started off doing small things like flea markets and doing things for free. When now we are able to go out to venues and play. But it's just been a really great thing. And one of the great things that we do every single year, as I said, I'm a teacher in the Boston Public Schools.
Right.
At the end of the school year, we play for the kids.
Oh, that's nice.
And they love it. That is one of the greatest things, is to, even though it may not be their genre of music, they love the music. And
Excellent.
Bob takes a day off from work,
Excellent.
and we do it every single school year, and it's really been wonderful to see the smiles on their faces. It's funny, some of the kids say to me, why don't I go on American Idol or something? But they're just great. They're a great audience, and it's just really a pleasure to do that. So we just enjoy playing around, basically indoors, outdoors. We're always make ourselves available to get some music going.
Have you ever thought of any professional competitions or anything like that, or?
Actually, we haven't been in any competitions. What we would like to do, because right now we do covers, a lot of covers, and Bob has a lot of songs that he has written, and what we'd like to do is to, get some music going of our own.
Okay.
Yeah, get some. So we hope to be working on that and do some originals. So that's our goal.
That would be nice. That would be nice.
That would be really great. So
that'd be
that's
nice.
what we're really looking forward to.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Well, Yelena, I know that approximately 2 months ago we did a recording. You played at the Mechanics Hall in Worcester. You did an excellent job. This is with Talents of the World. How involved are you with Talent of the World?
At this point, for me, it was just a one-time engagement.
Okay.
That was the first time for me when I met the president of the organization.
Okay.
And I actually knew Olga from the past engagements we had previously. So she contacted me on behalf of the organization, and I was really thrilled to join because of the caliber of the musicians
Yes.
that were participating in that particular show from all over the world, and just really excellent and impeccable musicians in the classical music world. So that was one of the highlights for me.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Are you planning to, well, I can't ask you how far you're thinking about going. You already reached the pinnacle into your career already. But how often do you, or are you engaged in actually performing? Is this something you do regularly, or is this something you do occasionally?
This is something that I definitely do regularly. So I have a mix of performing as well as teaching. So I try to divide my time more or less equally between teaching and performing. But I'm always open to the possibilities of performing, because, as I said, I just enjoy playing for people, whether it's a chamber music recital or if it's a solo recital, or perhaps is engagement with an orchestra.
Yes.
I'm open to any possibilities, and hopefully my schedule allows me to join that particular project.
Are there any particular or famous orchestras that you would have performed with over the years? Or?
I mean, I haven't yet played with Boston Symphony Orchestra,
Okay.
but the most famous one that comes to my mind. But I've played with various orchestras throughout the
Okay.
country and abroad.
Excellent.
In Europe, so it's been really enjoyable, and I'm
Okay.
looking forward to more
Okay.
because I think it's almost never enough,
Well,
and we can always
yeah.
keep improving and keep getting
Excellent. What was it like to really
engagement.
perform in a place like Europe, even opposed to here or back in Ukraine or Georgia or one of those places? How was it? How was it different in any form or?
Not particularly, besides perhaps the little cultural
Yes.
differences, between the people. Certain people react with, more eagerness to the guests versus other people. But it's almost always the same. Being a classical musician, I don't really have a chance to play any originals, but I play the music that was already written, and my job is to interpret it the way
Yes.
that can potentially, make people feel certain things. So my job, I would say, is mostly the interpretation of certain pieces that perhaps have been already played many times, hundreds of times. But I've always played for very warm audiences, and I can't say that I had, one of the experiences was
Yes.
worse than another, but it's always a good experience.
Right. Well, I heard you
during
say
the
that
different
also
concerts.
that you started from young listening to
Yes.
music and replaying those pieces, but music also involve writing and the interpretation of how those writings go and so forth. Do you write music or anything like that, or you just naturally talented in playing by ears? Which one?
Well, I can pick up music by ear
Mhm.
because I have perfect pitch, but if I have a concert coming up, of course I'm not just going to try
Right.
to learn a piece by ear.
Right.
I'm
Right.
going to take the score and read through it and then eventually memorize. But I haven't really had the time to sit down and write something of my own,
Okay.
although I would like to at some point.
Okay.
So,
So you do actually read music too. Well, that's the art. I mean, that is something. When I was at school, I got massacred from the teacher trying to read and understand music because I just couldn't understand it, right? And the reality is, where it came from, back in Barbados, it was a nation that if you refuse to learn or understand anything the teacher is teaching you, they would beat it into you.
Ooh.
Seriously, right?
wow.
That was a normal way of learning back in my time.
Yeah.
So that's the reason why I asked you if you can read music.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, certainly that was just the beginning, for my mom, for
Right,
my parents
I
to
understand.
discover that I had musical ears. But
Beautiful.
eventually, there wouldn't be a way around,
Okay.
like any other way
Right.
around trying to become a professional musician. Of course, everybody
Have
has
to.
to learn how
Definitely,
to read
definitely.
the music.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So Laura, getting back to you, on your years of performing, what make it so special that you keep? I know you said you grew up with your family,
Right, grew up with music.
with musicians and so forth, but I know that there are times where people grew up in an environment, and as they grow older, they just separate from that kind of atmosphere and do other things. What made you continuously grip onto music that serious?
I just love music. I feel like I always have a song in my heart or in my head, and it's like it's the universal language of my soul. As a matter of fact, I have to share this. My brother was sharing with me yesterday when we were younger. We'd be sitting at the dinner table, and I would be humming and singing, and my father would say to me, "Stop singing at the dinner table," and I would be quiet for a short period of time, and then I would start all over again.
Okay.
So I just feel like I you know, I always want to be involved in music, and like I said, I am a school teacher, and you know, I've performed with the chorus.
Yes.
We've performed during like the Black History Month and some
Yes.
of the Christmas shows and things like that. I always try to get myself involved, and I always feel like teaching. It's so great to be able to use music.
Yes.
In my teaching. I used to teach language arts, and so basically it was we would do some literature-based stuff, and then we would do poetry and music and art, and I just love using the arts, and I think it's a great way for kids to learn. You know, with everyone having sort of a different learning style, not everyone learns in the
Yes.
same manner. So it's just any opportunity that I have, I feel like I will definitely take it.
Yes.
I mean, at school, I'm doing retirement parties and just making up songs, and sometimes even breaking out in song. You
Yes.
know, but it's just great, and I just love music, and I think I always will. It just it makes me happy. It you know. First thing that goes on in the morning is my radio.
Okay.
You know.
So is it is music a part of any of your subjects you teach at school, or?
Actually, no, it isn't.
Okay.
Not anymore. Right now, I
Okay.
teach English as a second language, and so I don't get to use my music as much, but I keep myself involved. Like I
Yes.
said, sometimes with the chorus, with the Christmas show, those types of events that we have at school. We had a Flag Day celebration. I would sing, and I've done the Star Spangled Banner, things like that. But you know, and it's really been difficult to get our original stuff going because we both work
Yes.
full time. But that is my goal. I have, you know, sort of written lyrics to a couple of songs, but really haven't done much with it. And you know, hopefully, you know, once things become a little quieter, or you know, we have more time, we will be able to, you know, put some original pieces together.
Yes.
And you know, that would be great. But I just love being involved, and you know, certainly when you invite us to perform, we are certainly grateful for that.
Beautiful.
And other opportunities that we've had, you know, to do that.
Okay. So, Yelena,
Yes.
back to you again. Yeah, so in your professional world of music, what would be your advice to any young aspiring artists who are trying to not only become a pianist or saxophonist or whatever the case may be, but what would be your advice to them in terms of reaching, taking their music to the next level?
That's a great question. I think, you know, all of the musicians who have had some form of career in the past could talk about that for a long time. I don't think there's a single answer to that. I don't think there's a single word, but
Okay.
one of the things would be to be patient, because we don't always have or experience success constantly. But at the same time, I think when the things don't go the way we want them to, I think it's also part of the success, because eventually we end up being who we are later on,
Yes.
based on certain, you know, things that perhaps didn't go as well as we expected. So we try to work harder, and we try to find inspiration in certain things that we wish could have gone more our way. So I would say hard work and patience, and always believing in what you would like to achieve.
Beautiful.
So
Beautiful. And Laura, since you're a teacher and you're surrounded with so many children every day, do you try to inspire them to get into the music world, or ambitiously sing?
Yes, I do. As a matter of fact, last year we had the opportunity to visit Boston Arts Academy, which is a performing arts school in Boston at the high school level. So we some of the teachers, we took a trip over there just to see what are some of the things that students need to, to do in order to be able to apply
Yes.
at that school, because they get hundreds and hundreds of applicants and they have to turn so many students.
Yes.
And so we are trying to work with our students. Like this year, this coming school year, we've added an instrumental music teacher,
Okay.
and we'll have a chorus music teacher. And so I think that'll really be great, because I think it will really tap into some of the talent that these
Right.
students have that we don't even realize that they have. And so I am so thankful that our principal enjoys the arts or
Nice.
believes in the arts.
Yes.
I should say that. And it's just been, I know we have so many talented students, and and I just hope that they will, if that's the path that they want to go, that they'll work hard on it. And once we get our instrumental program going, that they will practice, because it takes practice. I
Yes.
mean, you can't just get up there and try it out. You just got to keep practicing and go for it, and just don't give up. And for me, I just spent many years just singing in the house, singing
Right.
in the shower,
Okay.
those kinds of things before I even
Okay.
found some bands and
Yes.
and found Bob. And I'm so grateful, because we both really enjoy music and listening to music. And I just have to share that just last weekend I had the pleasure of being at a concert with Santana, who I love, and the music, the love in the room was just so amazing. You could just feel it, and the ages of the young people and the old people that just really love his music. And it was amazing. It was a phenomenal concert, and I'm so glad I had the opportunity. And I love listening to other musicians
Excellent.
going to concerts. And I also had the opportunity this summer to see Damien Escobar, who is a classical violinist, and he does hip hop and blues and classical, and it's just amazing what he does. So I enjoy all kinds of music, and like I said, it's in my heart,
Would it
in
be-
my veins.
Okay, great. Would it be a situation where you may be able to, let's say, get your principal at your school, create some form of competitive environment where kids could come together and perform against each other and see who's the best, and really inspire them to take it to a different level?
That's certainly a possibility. I think once we get up and going, because at this point we don't even have any instruments, so we're leaving it in faith, and that things will come together, and we can find some instruments that Boston has that are not being used, and we are really starting from scratch and putting this program together. So we're hoping that this will really tap into some of the talents that we know some of these students have, and really have the love for music.
Excellent.
I think it'll be great, and I'm really looking forward to this school year. So not only do we have that, but we have we have a dance teacher and a theater teacher. So we really will have all of the components of the arts.
Excellent. Very good.
Instruments and the vocals, the chorus.
Yes.
So I hope to be, participating with them and working with them, and even talked about with the one of the music teachers about getting a little teacher chorus together.
Yes.
Just
That
to have
would be
fun,
nice. Yeah,
just
sure.
to have fun and, perform some songs, and the kids see you in a different light. They instead of being their teacher, they see you having a little bit of fun,
And I think that is pretty good to
Yeah.
for the kids. It
Oh, it's
cuts some
great.
off the boredom that they may be
yes,
experiencing
yes,
in their normal school life.
Absolutely.
Music would be really good. I think it's healthy to the mind to have that kind of atmosphere being extended into your school. I think it would
oh,
be really
absolutely.
good.
Like every so often in the classroom, like I'll break out in a song, and the kids love it.
That's nice. That's nice.
You
That's
know,
nice.
but I got to make sure I can. I don't want to get them too riled up so that they won't get off task. But
Correct.
it's just great. I mean, singing the ABCs and just it's great. Singing the vowels. I mean, I think it's wonderful. It's another way for them to learn.
That's true.
You know, and I make up little songs and things about nouns and verbs and things like that. So I just love using the music.
Well, that's
and,
a very creative way in
absolutely
getting the stuff into their brains.
Yes, that
sound pretty
usually
and
sticks.
it works.
Yes, it
do
does.
works. It do
Yep.
works. Yes. So Yelena,
Yes.
who around you at this time you are somewhat inspiring? Is there any young people you are reaching out to get them involved in this music world? Or
It's a constant process.
Okay.
I've been teaching for years, and oftentimes, whenever I teach one of my students a certain piece, I also learn from it, because there's a different level of being in touch with the music, where I learn it by myself with
Okay.
my own,
Yes.
mind and technique. And another thing is that when I'm trying to teach the piece with possibly the mind of another person, considering their talent, their level, and their general relationship with the music. So teaching a certain piece opens up new world to me of the possibilities, or even sometimes a certain interpretation in my own way. So it's a combination. I'm always inspired by the new generations. I'm actually starting to teach at Clark University in Worcester this upcoming fall. So I'm really excited about that opportunity, and I'm sure there will be so many great things that come out of those professional relationships.
well, I didn't even know you was actually into teaching. So I have two teachers and two great. This is really good. This is really good. Yeah. Well. I think that is nice, and I want to wish you all the best in your aspirations. Same
Thank
to you, Laura.
you.
All the
Thank
best
you.
in your
Thank you.
aspirations. But we are now in our final 2 minutes of the show. 30 minutes went pretty hard. But once again, thank you both. And
It's
to
a
all
pleasure.
those who had been tuning in to Living in the 21st Century,
Thank you so much.
thank you and have a nice night.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Okay, so we drowned the fire.
Yep.
Stirred it. Drowned it again. And now just feel if it's cold.
Yeah.
Cool.
Smokey just gave me a bear hug.
I know. Already posted it.
This is the story of a boy who didn't talk for a long time. The boy liked things to always be the same. Any changes would scare and upset him. The unknown was an unfriendly place. The boy was very sensitive to lights and sounds. So he built secret hiding places where they couldn't get in. The boy didn't like looking people in the eye. He wasn't trying to be mean, it just made him feel uncomfortable. Sometimes he would flap his arms again and again.
One day, I found out I have something called autism. My family got me help. Slowly, I found my voice and learned all the ways I could live with it better.
Early intervention can make a lifetime of difference. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org.
Welcome to Understood.org, a free online resource for parents of kids with learning and attention issues, with personalized recommendations, tools, and expert advice.